know. So, and I had So yeah, I mean, I think I brought her, I told her mom, you give me a list of what you list on campus. They are.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Allegheny Clearing Valley School District Board of Education reorganizational meeting. We'll begin this evening with the roll call. So this time, Madam Secretary, can you please conduct the roll call?
Patty Anderson. Present. Carrie Armgost. Here. Megan Dreher. Here. Brady Fight.
Here.
Diane Page. Here. Jeff Powell.
Here.
Jermaine Stump.
Here.
Eric Sunlight.
Here.
Kelly Terwilliger.
Here.
Before electing a temporary chairperson, I would like to recognize Ms. Trish Anderson from Richland Township in Angleton County as our newly elected board member filling that seat. At this time, we'll elect a temporary chairperson who will then elect our formal school board president. So at this time, I'll accept any nomination for a temporary chairperson.
I'll nominate Brady Fight.
Brady Fight. Are there any other nominations? All those in favor of Brady Fight, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Abstention? Brady, at this time, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, nominations for board president.
I nominate Kelly Terwilliger.
Any other nominations for president? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, Kelly, you're president.
Thanks, Brady.
Thank you, Brady.
Yep.
Okay, so we continue on with elections. This time we need to have a nomination for vice president.
I'll nominate Carrie Armgost.
Okay, any other nominations? All those in favor of Carrie for vice president? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, Carrie. Thank you. We will move on to treasurer. At this point, Megan Dreher is our treasurer. Do we have any nominations for treasurer's position?
Nominate Megan Dreher.
Okay, any other nominations? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thanks, Meg. This is kind of like church, you know? Once you're there, you're stuck for a while. We're also going to acknowledge that Mrs. Tammy Thompson is our secretary, and her term expired July 1st, 2025. We'll move on to appointments. I am currently the legislative chairperson. I will continue in that role unless somebody else would like to step up to the plate. Okay, so someone make a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that Kelly Terwilliger remain the legislative chairperson for 2023.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, abstentions, motion carries. This time our IU rep is Mrs. Carrie Armgost. Carrie, would you like to continue in that position?
I'm fine staying there, but if somebody else is interested, willing to give it up.
Are we okay with anybody want to step in? Okay, do I have a nomination to elect Carrie to that position?
I nominate Carrie for that position.
Appointment, okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Carrie. Jameen has indicated she would like to stay on as a Career Center representative, which I think is fine with anybody. Do we have a motion to put Jameen in that position?
I'll make a motion to put you in that position.
Okay. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. All right, Jameen will stay on as Career Center rep. We also need another Career Center rep. This position has been vacated because Corey has stepped down. So is there anybody interested in being on the Career Center board? Brady?
Yep.
That would be great, Brady. I think you do a wonderful job. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. We want to make a motion? I'll make the motion. And we already approved that. Good. Okay, Diane, you are the Career Center alternative representative. Are you okay with continuing with that?
I can.
Okay. Someone want to make a motion for Diane to do that? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. I am the PSBA cabinet representative, but I will gladly turn that over if somebody else is interested in doing that.
You get all the fun ones.
I know. Not seeing anybody else?
I'll nominate Kelly Twilliger to be the 2023 PSBA cabinet representative.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay, the next is for information. That's our technology committee. At this time, you can see the list of members who are on that. Board members would include myself and Diane and Jeff. You didn't know you were on it? Would you like to continue on that?
Sure.
Okay. Any other persons interested? Are we okay with those 3 board members? Okay, so we'll keep that technology committee the same for this year. We also have an athletic committee. I believe, Jameen, correct me if I'm wrong, you were willing to step down from that?
Correct.
Who is interested in stepping on to that position? Brady? Okay, so I'll nominate Brady for that. We don't really need a vote for that. Is everybody else on that position, on that committee okay? Okay, so we have Meg and Carrie and Diane. Okay, the finance committee is listed there. Again, it's Meg, Brady. Is there any other board member interested in serving on that committee? Patty would like to be on the finance committee?
And I did talk to Amy Fowles, and she'd like to be removed from that committee.
Okay. So we'll move Emmy and add Patty on the finance committee. Patty, will hopefully you can help us with some grant writing. Okay. I don't think we do for the committees now. Did I do one for the athletic? All right, well, then we'll make a motion to approve the finance committee. All those in favor? Aye. All right, so the next item on the reorganizational meeting is our board meeting dates. And David has given us 2 separate choices. We have dates for if we just meet one night with our workshop at 6, our regular voting meeting at 6:30, which we had done in the past. Or we have the option of continuing with 2 meetings, a virtual workshop meeting on the second Monday and the actual voting meeting on the third Monday. Is there a preference by the board as to which of those you're interested in maintaining?
I really like the Plan B, the Schedule B one,
Okay,
the 2 separate meeting dates.
I second that.
okay,
Yeah, I agree. I think it is just giving us more time to discuss things that we're gonna vote on instead of rushing things
are we still okay with the virtual workshop, or do we want to do that?
I like the virtual
You
one.
know, I like the virtual too. Makes it
That's why
easier.
it's gone so smooth.
Yeah,
We're not coming in here 2 nights. a month.
well, it makes it a little easier, yeah, I think, you know, to get everybody together virtually. Okay, so then I need a motion to approve the 2023 Schedule B, which is 2 meetings a month, schedule for the meetings for the 2023 school year.
I'll make that.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Do we need any more discussion? You'll notice the dates are there. The only dates that change as far as Mondays would be in June. So, okay, we'll try and remind everybody, but June kind of sneaks up on us because it's a Thursday because of the dates, the timing for the budget information. Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, so that will conclude our reorganization meeting. We're going to move straight into our voting meeting. I don't think there's any need to have a workshop. The agenda is very short. Unless, I'll ask, is there anything that you would like to discuss with David before we start voting as far as the workshop and the agenda for this evening? Any items that you would like more clarification about? Okay, not seeing any, then we'll move right into our voting meeting. We have our flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Tammy, would you do the roll call for the actual board meeting?
Patty Anderson. Carrie Armagost. Here. Megan Dreher. Here. Brady Fife.
Here.
Diane Page. Here. Jeff Powell.
Here.
Jermaine Stump.
Here.
Eric Sandling.
Here.
Kelly Twilliger.
Here. All right, do I have a motion to waive the reading and go ahead to approve the official minutes from the November 14th workshop meeting? Or is there anyone who needs or has seen anything that needs adjusted? If not, I need a motion to approve that.
I move. Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. I don't believe we have any public participation this evening, but we do have a presentation. So I'm going to ask Mr. Logue if he would come up to the podium, and we're pleased to have you here this evening to tell us about some of our resources.
I'm not much of a podium speaker, so I
Okay.
can't drift away from it.
That's okay. It's just, we kind of use that because on the virtual meeting, people can hear.
So I'm actually going to give you this, Madam President, and this is a list of some of the things that we have.
Thank you. I'll make sure to share this with the rest of the board. We can scan this in, maybe Tammy can send it out. Or is there a copy here for everybody?
There should be a copy there for everybody and then some.
Okay, I'll pass those out while you're talking.
So I'd like to thank everybody for having me here. My name's Dennis Logue. I'm the Emergency Management Coordinator for Clarion County. I'm also the local Emergency Management Coordinator for Foxburg, Richland Township, and St. Petersburg. I've been doing emergency management since about 2006. I was put into being the coordinator for the county January 1st, 2020, and we get our feet pretty much running from that time on. We have a lot to do, we have a lot to go. We have some things that you're seeing being passed down equipment that might be useful for the school district. Also, you have new things such as buildings that may be useful to me in an emergency. Some of the equipment we have that would be useful for you would be the 175 kW generator. It's more than enough to run pretty much what you have down here. It's a large generator. If it's needed, we can bring it down. We also have light towers that we can bring down if you need lighting. We just purchased 9 more sets of halogen lights that would be able to do anywhere from 13,000 lumens down to 7,000 lumens. We also have 1,000 feet On string lights, 100-watt string lights, we also bring a generator with us if we do this. We could also bring down other assets to bear under our task force. Harding County is a member of the Northwest Central Regional Task Force. It's comprised of Clarion, Jefferson, Clearfield, Cameron, Elk, and McKean. So everybody knows what everybody else has. So I need something from them and have pretty much identical to what I have. There may be some slight variances, especially in some of their trailers. They may have a command trailer, whereas I have a communications trailer. We can actually bring down a communication trailer here to help you if you need anything in reunification. It has radios that can talk to just about anybody, from aircraft, state police, ham radios, and the ambulance, fire services. We can do that. We also have cameras on it if need be, that we can actually video from there. Those are just a few of the things that we have. Those are the important things to do. There's other things listed on there that we're just now trying to put together. A mass casualty trailer, which we hope we never have to use, but that would be mainly for your state aid. It will be set up almost like a mini match. So it has a front compartment where paramedics, doctors can work up front. It also has 4 bunks in the back, plus we have a lot of extra equipment in the back behind it. I have been working with another task force to acquire a few other things for it. It'll also have a generator plus lights on it. We also have a hazmat trailer in case there's a spill. I do believe 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3, you had a tractor trailer roll over just up on the turn up here that had liquid wax in it. Actually, it was what they call cat cracker, which doesn't solidify as you would think. It's mainly an oil. They usually actually use it for fueling boilers. So that's, we can bring it to bear also. I can also help you in some of your emergency planning. We do have another person, his name is Brett Whitling. He is our planner. In the county level, we actually have pretty close to 60-some plans that we deal with, just county level. That's not including anything else. That's just what we deal with as far as hazmat plans, weather plans, emergency operation plans. If you can think of it, we probably have a plan for it. At least we try. Actually, I was just looking over as I was going through the AC file, and I found your 2020 pandemic plan, which was actually done in 2020. I do believe Mr. McDivitt put that together. So we actually look at these. We actually like to have copies of these. That way, if anything happens, we can at least help out. We know what you're going to need just by looking at these. I do believe I did send out through the emails emergency operation plans and reunification plans. The reunification plans is probably one of your more important plans. We had an exercise that Mr. McDivitt was present at, and we brought that up, and we had some interesting answers. Reunification is a big thing. Need to get the right child to the right parent, making sure they're getting delivered home. We had some different answers. We kind of thought we might want to help out. We are reaching out to everybody as far as schools to help them out with their planning. We can do that. If we can't do it, we know people that can. Your local coordinators, which in this case is me for Clarion County, can also help you. I'm not sure who is in Armstrong, Venango. I'm not sure who the local coordinators are there. I've got pretty much my hands full with what I have. This is what I'm doing. Your plans you should do every 2 years because people change. People leave, get voted in, voted out, people move on. They need to be looked at every 2 years. You'd be surprised the plans that we see that have names in it and people that are deceased for 5 years. So if you know they have not been looking at the plans. Your reunification plan for the events that you have, the area that you have, is probably one you really need to look at and pay attention. Now, a lot of people say, well, who needs to be on that, or who needs to do it? It's not just Mr. McDivitt. Brandon, he is the person that you have in charge of the schools, but push comes to shove, you're the school board. You're the governing body of the schools. Pennsylvania's a commonwealth. Everything starts at the bottom, works its way up. I hate to say this, you're the bottom level for the school district. You should be looking at those plans. You should at least know what's in them. Who should be on it? Of course, Mr. McDivitt, your maintenance crew, some of the school board members, even a parent or two would hurt. Really would not hurt. And actually, and I think we'll step out on a limb here, maybe one or two of your good seniors, they would give you an insight and know what goes on. You also need to know your hazards that you have. So I've been mulling this around for 3 days now. And there's something that's called a hazard vulnerability analysis. Now, your buildings are in Richland Township, Clarendon County. So that's all you would need to do. And I'm not sure, and somebody would have to speak up and say, you still do senior projects?
Yes.
As a senior project, I would say that maybe you might want to have 2 seniors or 3 seniors do a hazard analysis just of the buildings, where they set, what can affect them. Flooding, snowstorms, windstorms, tornadoes, building collapse, anything. Write down what they think it is. Write down a little bit of history of it. Has it happened here? Has it done it before? It would be a good project, plus it would also help you out. It would let you know what they think the actual issues are. It would help you write the plan. We are willing to come down and help you write the plan. All you gotta do is give us a call. Mr. McDivitt knows how to get a hold of me. No problem, he knows how to get a hold of me. But that's what should be done. That does what you're supposed to do, protect the kids, protect the school. I'm very, some people say I'm over, but I'm very passionate in what I do. My job is to protect the county. Your job is to protect the kids. I think of everything that can go wrong. My first year of the pandemic, just before I took that over, was Leisure Run flooded in Bethel. My old boss said, by the way, that's yours. Deal with it. I spent 2.5 months dealing with it. From my level to local level, all the way through to the federal level, where we ended up getting loans. It's an eye-opening experience. They still aren't completely done down there with what they do. It is not a quick process. If you're thinking that the county or even at my level can help you out on financially, get that. I can tell you that right up the bat. If you're planning on, if something does happen, you're expecting the federal government or the state to come in within a week, and you can get sanctified too. That ain't happening. You're gonna be on your own for at least 2 weeks, no matter what. So prepare accordingly. Mr. McDivitt, you still getting my emails for the weather? I send him every day weather. Usually I put something in there, whether anybody's planned, whether you have a safety kit in your cars, whether you have any extra food, medicine, blankets. Yeah, you might live, Richland Township is down the road 1.5 miles. What can happen in 1.5 miles? We all know that. Some of you live over in Perry, West Freedom, those areas. We're starting to get out to the sticks now. You might want to keep a blanket in the car. I mean, you really may want to. You know, I do take it very, very seriously. It's what I am supposed to do. I am actually right now the chairman of the task force. So, and I'm also kicking some other coordinators butts to do what they need to do to make it better for 6 counties instead of 1. There are other assets out there that we are trying to get. Let's go with the lost child. We are also setting up a drone team. There will be drones in a couple of different counties that will be able to come, and they will be trained to actually look for people. We have a search and rescue team, Elkwood. They can come in. We also have a swift water, for those of you that are along the river. We have a swift water team. That is what they are trained to do. They go out of state for training for that. They can get into swift water. They have been in swift water. We do have other things to bear. It's just what you need. But we need to start baby steps. Let's get plans done. Let's make sure that they're right. Let's make sure that they're for the school. Those are what needs to be done to start. Then we can grow. If you need to generate, all Mr. McDevitt's got to do is pick up the phone, call me. It might take us a little bit. We're not the fastest crew. We're all getting a little bit older. We can have it down here probably within 2 hours. The only thing we state is you need to have an electrician on hand so we can hook it up. We don't play with that stuff. This is something we don't do. We are also trying to get MRE type food stored and possibly a pallet or 2 of water. So we can have that on hand. Mainly it's for the I-80 corridor, in case we have stranded voters there from an accident. But it would also be available. That is something that we are looking at. We haven't made a final decision on that yet. I have to look and see how we can rotate the stock in and out. Water has a 2-year shelf life. Might not use it for 2 years. We may have to figure out how we're going to do that. But we are trying to do the best we can. I encourage you, if you are up in Shippensville, if you know where the old Source building was, behind Sweet Basin, there's a blue building sitting back there on the right. Come in and say hello. You'd be impressed with what we've got. We've got a brand new 911 center sitting up there. You have 5 dispatchers sitting in there. All of our EMA stuff is in that building. We've actually now put our trailers inside to work on them, make sure everything's good. We are all housed in one building for the first time in 5 or 6 years. And that's the way we need to be. 911 and EMA need to be together because we work together. If anybody at any time has any questions to me on what we need to do or how we need to start this, just ask. I don't read minds. I know what I'm thinking. I'm not sure whether you understand everything that I do say on this. So, Mr. McDevitt, and I'll ask this to everybody. Does anybody knows what NIMS are? National Incident Management System? That is a way for us to put everything in one language. And what I mean by that is, let's say we wanted a tanker, fire tanker, here. We all know what a fire tanker is. It's got wheels under it. You cross the Mississippi, if you call for a fire tanker, better be done. Because it's an air transfer, it's off the water. So here they are called tenders. Fire tender is what we would normally call a tanker. A tanker out there is an aircraft. So it makes common usage of the words. A widget is a widget is a widget, whether you're in Maine, Florida, Texas, California, Oregon, or Longford, Pennsylvania. It's the same thing. Some of the people, anybody here been a fireman? Any of the guys firemen? No. Firemen have to have that training. Actually, I do believe, Mr. McDevitt, you've had some of them, as far as NIMS. Actually, I would encourage maybe 1 or 2 of the school board to take it online. You can do it at your own pace. These, it's free. Doesn't cost you a penny. Maybe an hour and a half time. You'd be able to figure out at least what's going on. You would know what we're talking A lot of people in the townships think, oh, if we have a disaster or anything goes on, we're just gonna call the EMA, I'm gonna fire and help them, they'll take care of it. Wrong. First person on the scene, the incident command, whether it's Eric, Brady, Jeff, you're on the scene, you're the first one, guess what? You're in charge until somebody comes and knows what's going on. That's just how it goes. Fireman comes along, hey, it's yours now. But that is incident command. You are in charge until you are relieved. That's what we preach, that's what we do. We will help you. We will, and the worst thing you want to hear somebody from the government say is, we will help you. But in this case, we will actually come down and do things for you. We will do what we can do, what you allow us to do. Do you want us to help write the plan? The plan's simple. If those of you who looked at it, your emergency operations plan is a template. That's all it is. Fill in the blanks. You can make it to you, make it ready to school. You can put your own little nuances in. You can do what you want to do with it. That's important. That is important. Actually, you are required to have one. Reunification plan, I'm sure you're probably required to have that. I do not know that. I have not gotten much into the reunification plans yet. I've just been a bit busy with other stuff. By the time we read all the plans and get everything done that we need to do in a year's short. I'm already working on next year's plans. I read 3 of them today. I've got 17, what they call Sarah site plans, which the school should get a copy of the Sarah plan for the water plant, for chlorine, I do believe. They should have mailed to you. So that's a hazmat. So that could affect your school bus routes. You should be getting one from Parker. That I do not know. I'm not sure. You should also be getting one. No, Benango's was canceled. I don't know. So I know you're getting one from us for chlorine. Chlorine's nasty stuff. So it can affect the school bus route. At least up 478. So that's what we also look at. There are things that we look at to try to do the best that we can to keep everybody safe. When the commissioners decide they're going to do a disaster, they actually are putting me in charge at that point in time. I have to mitigate that problem. I have to get rid of it one way or another. Usually it's going to be calling somebody higher up. I don't have all the resources that I need. So if I can't get it, I go to another county. County can't get it, I go to the task force. Task force can't get it, I go to the state. Once it gets to the state level, then the governor has to decide whether it's going to go federal. You see, you hear a lot of the National Guard going for heavy snows, flooding, things like that. I can't do that. It's got to go to the governor. I can send it to FEMA and make that request. I can't make it come. Governor says that they can come or not. Now they can stage. I've got numbers 2 National Guardsmen who will stage in certain areas and get ready. But until they get word from the governor, they're not coming. So we're kind of stuck on our own a little bit. This is where we all kind of got to work together. As I kind of stated in that, if there was a disaster, we had to evacuate a large area. Let's say Hamilton and Parker, and I needed a shelter. Technically, by Title 35, I can come in and ask the district if I can take the school and use it as a shelter until we get things straightened out. That is by Title 35. That is law. We can do that to universities. We can do it to Clarion University, Keystone High School. All right, do we want to? No, we try to work with individuals, towns, to see if they have it. see if they can take care of the show. We don't want to interrupt anything here. But we have to, we can. I'm not sure whether any of you even do that or not. And I wasn't sure. Do you have any questions up to this point? Anyway, don't be afraid.
I don't have any questions, I just want to refocus back on a point you made earlier. The senior projects, that's a career pathway that several of the colleges offer for them to be an EMS safety writer of these plans. And if the kids aren't aware of it, that's something that is a direct contact factor. So any kid that's interested in fire, police, EMS, any of that, that's something that is a tangible asset for them to think about from a career path standpoint. We need to start making more clear these, I call them the invisible careers that people don't think about. And that's much of what he's talking about today. So for whatever that's worth, that's.
I'm going to reiterate on that because right now, every county in Pennsylvania is short dispatchers. To dispatch fire, EMS, and law enforcement. Can't get them. It's a hard job. I will guarantee you, I can't do it. Because you got to be able to deal with people on the phone that are screaming at you that something's happening. You got to be able to deal with that day in, day out. It's not a job everybody can do. EMA, to get to my position, you have to have at least 5 years experience. Is it a career? Oh my God, there are jobs that came down Harrisburg all the time, Indiana, other counties. There are jobs everywhere. Fire, EMS. Let's jump back for a little bit. Right now, for there to be an ambulance calling in Clarion County, you may have to wait 45 minutes to an hour. We have ambulances going from East Brady to SCI Forest. That's a 45-minute trip one way. There are days that you have 3 ambulances for the county, and that is it. That's all there is. And it's just not Clarion County. Jefferson County's in the same boat, if not worse. Venango may be a little bit better, but I don't think. She is right. Those are jobs. Those are invisible jobs. I mean, as far as going from a EMT paramedic to a nurse, not much of a step. Fireman, career fireman, Ball City, Franklin, Pittsburgh. They're getting paid pretty good. Dispatchers, right now starting out, probably anywhere from $15 to $17 an hour, depending on how much for they are. Clarion County's been a little desperate. They've got some places lately. They're sitting in a room. Well, pretty good size room now. It used to be about as big as 4 of those tables. But it's a little bit bigger room now. You're sitting in there 12 hours. You have your own kitchen. You do whatever you want in the kitchen. You cook whatever you want. They cook Thanksgiving turkey. They'll cook Christmas dinner. That's where they got to sit for 12 hours. And they got to take care of everybody that calls into them. Yeah, I get a little passionate. Mr. McDivitt knows I can go on at times. He's heard me before on this. But those are invisible jobs. Those are jobs that, yeah, maybe you need to think about how you can steer them that way. I know with the VOTEC, we've actually talked to the VOTEC Career Center, excuse me. I graduated from there in 77. I graduated from here in 77. So to me, it was a VOTEC. It was the first year it was open. I graduated out of warehouse management. That's where I graduated out of. They can do the dispatcher, but it depends on the type of training. There's 2 different types of training. No dispatcher, trust me. I don't know much about it. But there are 2 different types of Q&A, quality and control. But they do, but they have to be. And right now, they were trying to get the Career Center to change over, but it hasn't worked yet. I know that there has been some talks. Some of the other ones, I wish they would have had the law up there when I was in there. I mean, that, I think is very, that does get them ready for some of it. It does move them. I mean, it's important. Brady's the youngest one in this room. I think. I'm not good at anybody's ages, but I think Brady's the youngest one. We're all getting older. We gotta look what's gonna take care of us as we get older. Who's gonna be there to dispatch? Who's gonna be there to drive an ambulance, pick you up? Who's gonna come to put the fire out of your house? It's not looking good. 5 years ago, EMS would have been taken care of with a bag of money. So at the table, they would have been fine. Now, no way. Now you're short too many people. It ain't gonna happen. Fire companies, you listen to fire calls, if anybody has a scanner. During the daylight hours, how many fire companies take for that last fire? It's not 1 or 2 anymore. It's 5, 6, 7. They can't get anybody, there's nobody around. Their ranks are dropping very quickly. Law enforcement. You don't have much law enforcement in Larry County. You've got 3 towns, I think, that might be wrong, and state police. Right now, you were to call state cop, I guarantee it's gonna be half an hour, 45 minutes. Those are jobs, people. Those are jobs. But anyway, back to I do the one rant, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I am passionate. Back to the plans, we can help. We can help you plan for that. We can help you plan, we can help you do things. All you have to do is ask us. Myself or Brett would gladly come down and just sit and talk and tell you what we think. We've looked over 2 plans already, and it's your plan, not ours. We will make suggestions. That's as far as it's concerned. Your plan. We are not going to tell you it has to be a plan that coincides with ours. No, ours takes it in whole count. Yours takes it here. So it's your plan. Same way with your reunification plan. You should have it for some of the events that you have, in case something happens. Actually, for this area, for a large football game, basketball game, you're actually going to have a special plan for that. You don't know if you're going to need an ambulance fire. You have plans made up for that. Granted, I tell you do for football, because you have to have an ambulance here for football. You have one here for basketball. Wrestling?
Our safety committee is working on an athletic plan right now. We have a rough draft from the committee we've been working with. And then we've worked on a reorganization plan twice.
Okay.
So we're in progress.
You know where our concerns were on reunification plan by what we heard. Okay. And we had a exercise with all the superintendents in the county on IU6. And it was a very good, I thought it was a good exercise. We learned a lot as far as the EMA people. I'm not sure whether the superintendents did or not, but we learned a lot. We know now what we need to look for. We can also exercise your plans. I think I heard a couple schools say they want to do an active shooter. I want to tell you, if you're going to do an active shooter, you need to start from scratch. First, you need to write the plan. Then you need to exercise it as far as the tabletop. That's exactly what you want to do. Sit at the table, give you a scenario, talk about it, see if your plan's okay. Functional exercise is next. Functional just means you're gonna do things, but you're not actually physically moving equipment. Full scale exercise, I can do a couple of those as far as active shooter. That's where you start playing. That's where you start using the simulations, bringing law enforcement in, bringing fire companies in, bringing EMS in, and doing all that. It's scary. It's very scary. I got to play both sides of it. Actually, there's Please let me work with them. And I was actually a victim. It is a scary thing. And we have scary times. We've got a plan for everything. So I'm not going to keep anybody here any longer. If anybody needs to ask me a question, get a hold of me. Mr. Jim will gladly give you the email if anybody wants to get a hold of me. We will help. I guarantee you we will help. I will guarantee you either be myself or Brett or even the director may help. His name is Jeff Smathers. We want to make sure everything is right. That's why we're coming out. We visit municipalities. We visit councils. We visit, we're now getting into the schools. The first time, you are the first school board we've been to. You are the very first. I'm hoping we do a lot.
Thank you. We appreciate your
I
time.
thank you very much for the time.
Thanks.
Sure, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to board concerns.
I have a board concern.
Okay.
It was recently brought to our attention that Montauk had a very nice, post-secondary fair at their school. So it wasn't just a college fair, it was, local businesses that were looking for, employees. It was trade schools that they had the options. It was EMT, fire, and everything like that. So, we had discussed that we knew that it was talked about previously amongst some of the board and administration. And we just really hadn't seen anything come to fruition. So we wanted to, I guess, see that come to fruition this year. And if there's any way to like kind of have us involved with it as well, we're willing to help, recruit businesses, colleges, and try to help keep people accountable as well and make sure that we see it happen. So some of us thought maybe we could try to get that rolling for this spring so that our seniors aren't missing out on it, and just go from there. So I don't know if anybody else has anything to add about that.
So we would kind of put that in the hands of the guidance counselors and
Yeah,
ask them
Yeah,
as a
we would
board
like
if
to
they
see
can
guidance.
plan on.
We can provide updates. We're actually working on it up in the junior senior high right now, for council from the Manchester County. So we'll have a board provide an update every month to see what we can do to help support that plan process.
Yeah,
But
so
it's in a mix.
it would be kind of a career fair, and I know there are board members who would be interested in helping. If you have a committee that wants to work on that, I know Meg would be a great asset for that. And I know Brady could put some input in as far as other careers that aren't education or the higher ed base. So I think we want to try and hit all areas, so.
So if that's going to be looked at, can it have a timeliness to it? Can we put some computation as to when it might happen? Can we have, maybe a month, let me say April, maybe May, max late at the latest, that has happened?
Sure.
Yeah, I would say March or April, because you want to give enough time for seniors to know what's going on, so. And if you need, like I said, there are board members who are willing to help, to, make some calls and get some contacts for you and start developing, and of course, like Meg said, I'm sure that guidance counselors can talk with the guidance counselors at Montauk,
Yeah, I
get
think
some insight.
so. There was an article online. I believe Montauk had 38 different vendors that came in, so colleges, businesses. So we'd like to see something in similar magnitude here for our students as well. So, like I said, we're
Sounds good. We'll have the career counselor come in at the next meeting and provide an update, and then we can kind of shape and move that into what we set as the career.
We did talk about it before. Is that where the career counselor, is that kind of where that stemmed from? Was that initial discussion?
Yeah,
I
Pat,
remember mentioning the contacts at Oil City because my previous employer, we used to participate every year with kids. It's an annual event, very well run. And it's just been a successful event for the students overall. So I know we talked about it before, but it's been so long. I don't remember exactly, what we were addressing with the
Yeah, they're working on resume writing, job interviewing, and preparing for the career day. Bill, is there something more you'd like to add and work closer with her?
I can provide an update in January. I know that Mrs. Logue has been working on pulling that all together, along with Mrs. Raybuck. So I'll find out where they are and what the immediate plan is, but I think they were shooting for it.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yep.
Any other board concerns this evening?
I have a question, because I have a couple of things that I'd like to, I'm formulating that I'd like to bring forward, but I'm not entirely sure how to do it. One is a cybersecurity piece that's free for schools to offer, and it's a total certification inside of cybersecurity, so it's a career pathway for kids to look at. That's another area that we're screening for women in. If it's free to schools to use it, this is from Pennsylvania. How we get something like that, with the ability to integrate into the school, if it's something that fits a need. And then another one is a training that is kind of like the problem-based learning we talked a little bit last time about, where he was talking about next-gen science and some of the other pieces with that. That is kind of an interesting, it's a year-long training for staff that falls in one of the, I have to go back and look, but it falls in one of the apps for training for teachers. And the way it was described to me, the way it rolled out sounded very interesting in terms of helping them to hit diversity, hit some of the teaching plans. I think it would be very useful. It's one of the few integrated in a school down in Warren County.
So I think what we need, I mean, that would be something that Bill and Lori would look at as far as curriculum. If you have more information to bring and share with them.
I'm trying to figure out how to get it. That's my problem. I found a citation, but I haven't found my total source on that.
Okay. All right. Any other board concerns? Okay, we're going to move into the consent agenda. Are there any items that you would like pulled from the consent agenda to be voted on separately? Not seeing any. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any items? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to finance and purchase. Meg, would you like to handle that?
A, consideration to approve a donation from the Allegheny Clarion Valley Youth Football Program in the amount of $1,300 for utilization of the high school for cheerorama and field conditioning as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
B, consideration to approve the positive mental health programming and mental health supports proposal from Vantage Educational Services dated November 30th, 2022 in the amount of $10,375 to be paid using ESSER free funds as attached. So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. We had a presentation by this person, the director of this program, and we were also sent some curriculum to look at. Is there anything you have questions about?
Brenda will be working with the school counselors to implement this. Now, the implementation is still a little fuzzy to us, so we're not exactly sure how we're going to get that done, but we are open and willing to work with her to meet the needs of our students.
My only concern is I don't want to put any more pressure on the teachers as far as
Yes, exactly.
giving them extra work or taking time. I know we keep pushing things into the curriculum and there's only so much time in the day. So as long as it isn't going to implement, core content and other things that's going on, I don't have a problem with it. And I believe there's students from Slippery Rock University going to be involved in presenting the program. So, any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I have to abstain from that, Kelly.
Thank you, Jameen. Okay, motion carries. Okay, we have nothing under personnel tonight. We'll move on to instructional services. Diane, do you want to do that?
Sure. We have the elementary report.
Since it's only been 5 school days since our last meeting, I don't really have a lot to report other than we sent progress reports home today. And I wanted to make you and the public all aware, and as a reminder, it's on the calendar. December 16th, we will hold our annual Christmas program for the K through 6th grade. It will be at the high school auditorium. There are 2 shows. The first one is at 9:30 in the morning. And we encourage students or families whose students have the last names beginning with A to L to attend that performance if possible. And the second show begins at 1 o'clock, and those families would be M through Z, if it's possible for them to attend the afternoon. And we invite all of you to join us as well. It's always one of our favorite days of the year, watching the kids perform up there for us. And that's really all I have today.
Thank you. And the secondary report?
I don't have much either. I did place at your seat the curriculum guide for both 7th grade and 8th grade reading course. As I mentioned last month, this currently is a half-year course. And my recommendation, along with the adoption of this curriculum next month, would be to increase that class from 1 half year to a full year, to be able to dive deeper into the material. I've looked at our school performance profile in both 7th and 8th grade for ELA, and we're mediocre at best. Our growth levels are flat, and I just feel this is part of the reason why students struggle even in some of the other classes. Their ability to read, be able to think about what they're reading, and be able to write about any of those topics suffers whenever they don't have the skill set. This curriculum aligns that a lot closer to our ELA course, but expands upon the writing part especially, and I think that it will be a benefit to our students. So please consider that over the next month, and I'll ask the board to take a look at that for adoption next month.
I have a question about it.
Sure.
You said it's only half year right now. What is the other half year? What are the students doing?
It's a flip off of one of our elective courses.
Oh, okay, okay.
The 7th grade students right now, they generally have at least one study hall. A lot of them have 1.5. We don't allow 2 study halls. So we asked them to take an elective and to try to fill that schedule out. And it's understandable that a lot of students need one study hall. But I think that we can fill student schedules and meet their needs, and even with the increased amount of time that they would put into this particular reading course. The only other item I have is that this weekend, starting Friday night, 6 o'clock, will be the boys tip-off tournament here at AC Valley. It will finish off with 2 varsity games on Saturday night, starting at 6 o'clock. That's all I have.
I have a question. I want to get back to the last meeting, and it was a statement that was made about this would help teach to the test. I'm
Yes.
concerned about that phrasing. Is that in fact what this is doing, teaching the test, or is it teaching the kids?
Teaching the skills that are needed to be able to be successful on that test, yes.
That would be my concern. I don't believe in teaching the test.
Okay. Consideration to approve the coordination of bands agreement between the Union School District and the Allegheny County School District effective for the 2023 through 2026 seasons as attached. So moved.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I just feel like there's just so much back and forth. It's like, then we get an email, from a student, and it's like, what's the right thing to do here?
With everything, Diane, there's 2 sides to every story. There's positives and negatives, alike, and ultimately, I think we have to decide what's best for the program as a whole and all of the students. That's my opinion. We've been battling this for 3 years, and we haven't seen improvement. We've seen decline. So, at some point, we have to look out for what's best for the majority of the students.
Well, I know there were some issues that we were concerned about. I think we've got answers for all those. David contacted Reimersburg and got some things decided as far as some of those minor things that needed to be planned out. The only thing that's still up in the air is how the boosters would work. And I think that's something that's just gonna have to be ironed out. I mean,
Like all the other boosters.
like all the other boosters.
Yeah.
And a fair way that both schools benefit. And I think that'll have to be something that's looked at and planned for and make sure that both schools are represented equally. And I would just like to say, if we go ahead with this, it's a 2-year plan, and if the numbers increase our band, then we can always in 2 years look at bringing it back to AC Valley. So we're only committing to 2 years. And I believe at that point, the band director from Union is planning to retire, David?
Yeah, that's correct, but I just wasn't sure, Kelly, if that was a 3-year agreement that we had.
I think it's it says.
I
3
thought
years.
it said it was only 2 years because she was gonna retire.
Was it
3 years?
It says 2023 to 2026.
Yeah,
3 years.
but I was thinking-
She retired.
Okay, I thought it was a 2-year when we talked about it last time.
The other football agreements and other athletic jobs have a 2 years, but this is a 3-year agreement.
Okay.
She will be retired.
Okay.
And that's the only reason it's at 3 years, that's when she plans to retire?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Any other discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm opposed, Kelly.
Abstentions? Okay, motion carries.
We don't have a student report tonight, so how about federal programs report?
I don't have anything to report from our last meeting.
District report?
Yes, Diane, I'm just going to provide a water update that we've been working on and want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Kelly and I attended a Foxford Water Authority meeting with local business owners and the Foxford Water Authority on November 17th. We discussed about various affecting issues from the water and how it impacts school districts and local community. I stated that the school district has been impacted 43 days since 2018-19 school year. The meeting was spearheaded by Thomas Thompson, the engineer for the Foxford Water Authority. He's currently working on a grant for upgrades for the infrastructure and the holding tank. We had a number of staff members and students here at the district write letters in support of this grant. We got them sent down to Thomas, and he will submit that information with the grant. In addition to that, I've contacted Brandon Linton, who Brady Fife put me in contact with. He's from PennFest. Brandon provided a lot of information to me as far as what we can do as a school district. There is grant money out there, but the school district's not, able to write that grant. We have to partner with the municipality or water authority, and they recommended us reach out to St. Petersburg Water Authority because they've worked with them on their current plan, and they have a good working relationship with them. We'll continue to work on that project. Per our phone call, Brandon sent me down information and a working map that I can share with the St. Petersburg Water Authority. That being said, once that information is completed and submitted in, and PennVest has grant, they help potentially connect us into St. Petersburg Water Authority, or if we continue to work with Foxburg to do infrastructure upgrades down there as well. There is a meeting on Monday, December 5th, the Clarendon County Commissioners. I'm going to invite a number of school board members in here and a couple of local business leaders to talk to the commissioners. They do have access to grant writers, and they have updates for us. So I'll report back to the school board after that. December 7th is a St. Petersburg Water Authority meeting that I plan to participate with them during that evening and generate the conversation, see if they're even willing or what their thoughts are as far as possibly partnering with us. So that's where we're at right now with the water, and I just wanted to provide that update, and I'll share with the school board more information. Going back to Thomas Thompson, his grant is due in December. They said if they did get the grant, it would be awarded in 2024. and then they'd have to move forward with the project. Talking with Penn Best, they said we have to get an engineer, get the project mapped out, and then apply for the grant. So there's a lot of work to be done between now and then anyway. So I'm going to explore every option we can. We'll decide together in the school group what direction we go.
David, Foxboro's meeting again when? I know we had that December
That's
22nd, was it?
Yeah, we'll meet again here on campus December 22nd,
Okay,
on Thursday.
with the Foxborough group.
Yeah, and Thomas is going to provide us with an update.
So we really don't know which way is going to be the quickest way at this point, or what our options are, but we're trying to,
Yeah.
neither one's going to happen overnight.
No, we're exploring every option we got.
Has the estate owners, have they been in
Oh, yeah,
connection
yeah,
with Foxbury and everything?
Yeah, they were at the last
Yeah,
meeting.
okay.
yeah, and they're willing to partner and help out wherever they can as well. So more to come. I'll keep everybody updated. I also want to thank Ms. Tammy Thompson for all the work that she put into the dinner this evening and preparing and moving forward. It's been a quick turnaround, and Tammy's worked effortlessly in there, and she should be commended for her work as well.
Thanks, Tammy. We appreciate it.
We do. And Diane, that concludes my report.
Thank you. And we have the school police report attached. Do you have anything to add?
No, not really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to policy. Carrie, you want to do policy?
Sure. Consideration to approve the second reading of policy number 625, procurement cards as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded. David, you want to explain any of the
Yeah, I was
changes?
going to turn it over to Andrea. She's just going to give a brief overview of the press run.
So I had reached out to Amazon about their business card. And I also reached out to farmers regarding their Visa community card. And comparing both of them, I think that the farmers Visa community card is more suited for a nonprofit business in the district. Again, it's 0% interest. Recommended to not do any type of cashback rewards because we are a nonprofit organization. So just looking at the two, I'm recommending using the Farmers Visa community card instead of the.
Andrew, how do you guys make the decision? You have to have a name, right, for a business card, so.
Yeah.
How do you?
It's the school district.
Well, I mean, like a person. Don't you have to have like a?
Yes.
I should be in
Would that be you?
It's me.
Okay.
And and why going with farmers is better is because with the Amazon business, it's run more like a corporate card. So it would actually have to be somebody almost like tied social security number wise to the business.
That's what I was.
With the farmers card, it's more of a nonprofit. So even though my name's on there, my private information is only for identity purposes and not for like linking me and the business as one.
So it'll be easy not to replace you, like you're moving on, but, you know, if we have to do that or.
Yes, it's just a phone call and a matter of filling out a new paperwork. And we can also have like accounts payable listed as a member also so that he's able to pay our Amazon bill, which is why we initially started looking for a credit card because Amazon is no longer doing their line of credit. So we have so many purchases with them a month. That's why we originally had looked at the Amazon credit card because it was basically to purchase stuff on Amazon. But yeah, it would be an easy fix if I were not here.
Well, you can attach a card to your Amazon business. And you can say credits as you can. in Amazon business.
I'm sorry.
You can attach a farmer's card to your Amazon business.
Yes,
So
you,
if you don't lose anything.
right, yep, and that's what we would be doing. The farmer's Visa community card would be paying the Amazon account. Any other questions?
Okay, we're going to vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, so we'll move on to facilities. Jeff, you want to do that?
Sure. Maintenance report?
Yeah, I don't have very much, but Danny and James last few days working on getting equipment ready for the surplus sale we're gonna have. changed a couple motors and units in those schools. Walk-in freezers, high schools have leaks, we've been looking at that, maybe we can't find a leak. So that's probably gonna have to need some attention next, hopefully get through the season, but we have to change that unit in high school walk-in freezer and cool room. That's all, thank you.
Okay, we don't have anything under transportation this evening. We'll move on to miscellaneous. Do we have anything from the Career Center? I'm guessing no, but since we just met. Jermaine, were you at the Career Center? We'll move on to the IU report.
I thought we had a meeting last week, we did not, it's on the 14th.
Okay,
So nothing to report.
okay. I don't have any correspondence. Tammy, is there anything we need? Okay, we have not had a technology committee meeting since the last board meeting. How about the athletic committee?
No, we haven't had any.
Okay, so no football or finance,
Nope.
either one of those, okay? Any old business? Any new business? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay,
Second.
vote, moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries, and we'll adjourn. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, since we won't see each other again until January of New Year. Appreciate all your hard work and everything you do, so thank you.
Great night, everybody. Let's cheer up.
Yes.